Have you ever had one of those mornings where everything just feels a little off? The coffee tastes flat, the house feels quiet but not peaceful, and the little ones, whether they're grandkids visiting for the weekend or the kids you helped get off to school, seem distant, distracted, maybe even a bit cranky. It's easy to chalk it up to a bad night's sleep or a busy schedule. But here's something I've learned over the years: those morning moments, as small as they seem, are actually powerful. They set the tone for the whole day, not just for us, but for the children we care about too. Now, I know you might be thinking, well, I'm not raising little ones anymore. Maybe you're a grandparent, a caregiver, or just someone who plays a meaningful role in a child's life. But that's exactly why this matters. The connection we have with children, whether it's daily or just a few times a week, is something we can shape, and believe it or not, it starts with a few simple habits in the morning. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 morning habits that not only build emotional strength in children, but also deepen the bond between you and them. These habits don't require big gestures or long conversations. They're gentle, natural, and meaningful, and I promise, you'll feel the difference too. Let's start with something beautifully simple: being present. Not present as in being in the same room. I mean really being there. You know, not half scrolling on your phone or half thinking about your to-do list while pouring cereal. I know we've all done it. I've done it plenty. But when you take even 5 minutes in the morning to give a child your full attention, to look them in the eyes and genuinely see them, it sends a message louder than words ever could: you matter to me. It could be as simple as sitting at the breakfast table and asking how they slept. Not in a rushed, routine way, but in a soft, curious tone. Did you have any dreams, or were you cozy last night? And then just listen. Let them ramble about that weird dream with the purple dog, or how their blanket got all tangled. What might sound trivial to us is actually emotional gold to a child. You're telling them, without saying it outright, that their little inner world matters. And that builds trust. That builds strength. The second habit is something that might take you back a few decades: sharing a moment of physical affection, and doing it with intention. We often underestimate how much comfort and courage a child can draw from a simple hug. Not just a quick squeeze on the way out the door, but a real hug. The kind where you linger just a second longer. Maybe you smooth their hair, or wrap your arms around their small shoulders and whisper, "I'm so glad to see you this morning." That kind of touch is grounding. It gives a child the emotional security that says, you're safe. You're loved. No matter what today brings, this bond is here. Even if a child is a bit older and maybe not as outwardly affectionate, there's always a way. A gentle hand on the shoulder, a pat on the back, a little playful tap on the nose. These tiny rituals of touch are like emotional vitamins. They're quiet, but powerful. And here's something beautiful I've seen happen again and again: when you make these small acts of presence and affection a regular part of your morning rhythm, the child starts to carry them forward. They begin to feel more confident, more regulated, more emotionally sturdy. You'll notice they handle frustration better. They're a little more patient, a little more open. Why? Because they started their day feeling connected. Now, let's talk about the third habit, one that's especially dear to me: starting the morning with a shared moment of calm. Life moves fast. Even in retirement, the mornings can feel like a bit of a hustle: getting the kids dressed, breakfast made, lunches packed, schedules coordinated. But when we pause, even just briefly, to create a pocket of stillness, it changes everything. It doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe it's sitting together for a quiet moment before breakfast. Maybe it's listening to a soft piece of music. Or simply watching the sunrise from the window with a cup of tea. One of the easiest ways to do this is to take 3 slow, deep breaths together. Just say, "Let's take 3 calming breaths," and then breathe in and out, together. You don't need to explain it as a meditation or a mindfulness practice, although that's exactly what it is. You're teaching the child, without even saying the words, that calm is something you choose. That emotions don't have to run the show. That even in a rush, there's always space to slow down and settle your heart. And here's what's amazing: children watch you closely. They're little emotional mirrors. When they see you take that breath instead of snapping at the spilled milk or the forgotten homework, they learn resilience. They learn self-regulation. Not from a lecture, but from example. So those are the first three: being fully present, offering intentional affection, and creating a moment of calm. They may sound simple, and they are. But the power in them lies in their consistency. When done with love, they become rituals that anchor a child emotionally and quietly say, "You're not alone in this world." Now that we've talked about those powerful morning moments, you're not alone in this world. That's something children need to feel again and again, especially in the early hours of the day when their hearts are still tender and their little minds are bracing for all that lies ahead. Now, let's move gently into the next habit. And this one might surprise you. It's letting them make a choice in the morning. It doesn't have to be a big decision. You're not handing over the car keys or letting them decide what bills to pay this month. It can be something as simple as, would you like toast or cereal today? Or do you want to wear the red shirt or the blue one? These tiny choices give children a sense of control. And for a child, especially one who might be sensitive, anxious, or just still figuring out the world, that sense of agency is a quiet but powerful builder of emotional strength. When a child feels like their voice matters, even in small things, they start to believe that they matter. That their opinion is valid. That they have the power to shape their world, even in a small way. And you'd be amazed how that confidence spills over into how they speak to others, how they handle school challenges, and even how they manage frustration. You're not just helping them pick out a snack or a pair of socks. You're helping them grow roots of self-trust. That sense of, I can decide, and my choices are respected, plants seeds of resilience that grow far beyond the breakfast table. I remember watching my granddaughter one morning. I had laid out 2 different granola bars and asked her which one she wanted in her lunchbox. She stared at them for a few seconds like it was a world-altering decision, then picked one up and said, "This one makes me feel brave." And I thought, wow. That little moment was a mirror. She was learning that even tiny choices have meaning. And all I did was ask a simple question. Now, once we've given them a little choice and shown them that we're present, calm, and loving, the next habit might sound like it's meant for adults, but it's just as valuable for kids, offering a positive intention for the day. It's not about pep talks or making them repeat affirmations if that doesn't feel natural. It's just about gently shaping how they see the day ahead. You could say something like, "Let's try to be kind today, even if someone else isn't," or "I hope today brings you something that makes you smile." Or, if the child's old enough, you could simply ask, "What kind of day do you want to have?" It's not about pretending everything will go perfectly. It's about giving them a mental and emotional anchor they can return to when the day gets bumpy, which, let's be honest, it usually does. Children don't always have the language for their feelings yet. But they do have a strong emotional radar. When you offer a moment to reflect on how they want to show up in the world, it teaches them something big, that they have a say in how their day unfolds, not just in what happens to them, but in how they respond. I once said to my grandson, "Let's try to be brave today." He looked at me and asked, "Even if I mess up?" And I said, "Especially then." That was a moment I'll never forget. Not because it was dramatic or life-changing on the outside, but because I could see in his little eyes that he was thinking about courage differently. Not as something loud, but as something steady. That's the beauty of these morning habits. They're not just about giving children tools. They're about giving ourselves a sense of purpose in those early hours too. Whether you're helping get them ready for school, or just checking in during a video call, they're moments that say, "I see you. I'm with you. And we're in this together." These routines can bring more peace to your mornings, sure, but they also bring more meaning. And isn't that something we all long for, especially as we grow older? To know that we're making a difference. To feel useful. To know that our wisdom, our calm, our love, it matters. It doesn't take loud voices or grand lessons to shape a child's emotional strength. It takes quiet consistency. A gentle word. A hand on the shoulder. A patient pause. That's something you can give, even if your knees ache or your memory isn't quite what it used to be. Emotional strength doesn't come from doing everything perfectly. It comes from being there, even if just for a few, calm, honest minutes each morning. And if you're wondering, am I really making a difference? The answer is yes. Every smile, every breath, every moment of connection adds up. You may not always see the results right away, but you are building something strong and lasting. So far, we've talked about being present, sharing affection, finding calm, inviting choice, and setting a positive tone. These are gentle, loving ways to start the day, and they don't just help the child grow. They help you feel more connected, more grounded, and more joyful too. Let's keep going. Let's keep going, because there's one more morning habit I want to share with you. It's simple, it's tender, and it often gets overlooked in the rush of the day. But it's one of the most powerful tools we have for helping children grow emotionally strong. It's this, saying something kind about them in front of them. It could be a compliment, sure, but even better if it's an observation about who they are, not just what they've done. Maybe you're talking to their parent, a sibling, or even just yourself, and you say, I love how curious she is. She's always asking such thoughtful questions. Or, he really tried hard yesterday, even when it got tough. That kind of effort, that's something special. Now here's the key, you say it when the child can hear it. There's something magical about hearing someone you love speak kindly about you when they don't think you're listening. Children soak it in. Their faces might stay the same, but inside, their hearts light up like the sun coming through a window. It tells them, I am seen for who I am. Not just when I succeed, not just when I behave, but for me. And don't worry if the words don't come out like poetry. They don't have to be fancy or perfectly timed. In fact, it's even better when they're just part of your natural morning rhythm. You're not trying to perform, you're just letting your appreciation spill out in little, real ways. That's what makes it feel true. There's this quiet strength that grows inside a child who hears good things said about them. It builds confidence that's not loud or boastful, but steady. It's the kind of confidence that helps them face the world with a soft but strong heart. And for us? It's a chance to slow down, to notice the goodness right in front of us, and to say it out loud. That kind of noticing, it brings us closer. It keeps us connected, not just with the child, but with ourselves too. So now we've walked through 5 beautiful morning habits. Each one gentle. Each one simple. But together, they can completely transform how a child starts their day, and how you feel in those first waking hours too. We've talked about being truly present, offering meaningful affection, creating a moment of calm, giving small choices, setting a positive tone, and now, speaking kindness aloud. When you think about it, these aren't just habits. They're expressions of love, passed from one heart to another, in the quiet, ordinary moments that so many people rush through. But you're choosing to slow down. To be intentional. To use these mornings not just to get things done, but to build something lasting. A relationship. A sense of safety. A legacy of love. And here's the beautiful truth, it's never too late to start. Whether you're with a child every day or just once in a while, these moments matter. They don't need to be perfect. Children don't need perfect. They need you, your patience, your warmth, your steady presence. If there's anything I hope you take away from this, it's that small things become big things when done with love. A soft voice. A gentle hand. A kind word. These are the tools that build emotional strength. Not just in children, but in us too. You're part of their emotional foundation. Your words, your energy, your example, it all counts. And if some mornings are messy, or noisy, or just plain hard, that's okay. Grace belongs in those moments too. Just keep showing up with your heart open. That's what matters most. And now, before we wrap up, I want to say something to you. You are doing something beautiful by choosing to care, by choosing to nurture, to connect, to be present. Whether you're a grandparent, a caregiver, a neighbor, or a friend, your role matters more than you may ever fully know. Your presence is a gift. If this message resonated with you, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Maybe you have a morning tradition with your grandkids, or a memory from your own childhood that still warms your heart. Share it. You never know who you might inspire. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and tap that like button, and make sure you're subscribed for more videos just like this, thoughtful, uplifting content that celebrates connection, compassion, and living well at any age. Here's to starting the day with purpose, love, and presence. Here's to raising emotionally strong children and feeling more connected to them than ever before. And most of all, here's to you. You're never too old to make a difference, and never too late to deepen a bond. Take a breath, hold it for a moment, and let it go. Now go share your light. We'll see you next time.